NAB 2007 and Sony introduce a brand new acquisition format. The format is called XDCam EX. On show for the first time is a PMW EX1, at this time out of reach behind glass. However, this glimpse was enough to excite the attendees of NAB and have everyone talking about this new tapeless camcorder from Sony. Now, this camera and the format XDCam EX are both regarded as mature, robust and accepted in the industry. They've been used for everything across the board. Been used for a lot of corporate work, broadcast, news, music videos, even low budget features. And if you need to take it to a higher level, the camera's got the SDI out on the back. So while it records at 35 megabits a second native XDCam EX, the potential for this camera is to go a lot further. Now, what's so compelling about the EX1R is for an affordable camera, it offers a fully professional package in a small form. Now, I personally have invested in two of these. It's my shooting system. When I go out on location, and I've filmed all around the world with this camera, I take two EX1Rs. So let me take you through what I consider to be the advantages of this system, what makes it so good, and what makes it the best in the class of the affordable cameras. So this is one of my EX1Rs, and the first thing I'd say, which is so good about it, is it's small. I mean, look at the size of that. I can hold it in one hand without problems. It's small, it's portable, it's easy to manage, but I like the way it feels in my hands. I just feel totally at home with it. When I go out on a shoot, I'm not weighed down. Effectively, this system, you can take it on a plane, you can put it in a bag. Now, have a look at this photograph that I'm going to show you. I've got one bag and my two EX1Rs can fit into this one case, and that's my carry-on for going onto an aeroplane. So my point is, there's not many cameras that can produce images as good as this and be as functional as this, which fall into such a small package. So to me that matters, because I'm always jumping on and off of planes at short notice, and I've got to bring the gear, and the last thing I want to do is put my cameras in the hold. So certainly the size is a big deal. Beyond that, the operation of the camera is fully professional. Everything where you need it to be. You've got gain, low, medium and high, your white balance preset, and then you've got your A and B settings, zebra, peaking. The lens, I've got to say without doubt, and we all know this, the lens matters as much as anything, because the light passes through the lens, hits the sensor on the back, and if you don't have a good lens, that's going to affect the quality of your pictures. Well, with the EX1R, the lens is very good. It's a Fujinon lens, it's absolutely fantastic, stops down to 1.9, so you can let a lot of light through, and basically, just the accessibility of the controls. For example, on the back of the camera, switch it to auto, manual, audio, internal, external microphones. The zoom rocker just in the right place. Expanded focus. While you're shooting, you can zoom in on the image and check focus for critical focus, and that's a big deal. And the important thing is you can do that while you're shooting. It's not just while you're setting up. The XLR jacks, phantom powering. It's got a built-in mic. Now, of course, the built-in mic isn't what you want to rely on, but it can be sure useful for when you want to just capture ambience on location. So the overall package adds up to quite a lot, and the professional operation basically means you can get to where you need to be very quickly and easily and get the results you need. With the SDI on the back, if you want to go to quality levels much better than the 35 megabits a second, you can. Just take that clean SDI feed out the back, run it into a separate recorder, and you can record at vastly superior quality and vastly superior bandwidth than you can use an XDCam EX. XDCam EX, as I said, runs at 35 megabits a second and it's a 420 codec. But if you want to go to full 422 at vastly higher bit rates, take it out the SDI and the potential is all there. Now, beyond SDI, you've got other choices for getting the video signal out. You can go composite, component, and you can also go HDMI. Now HDMI is only offered on the EX1R, so the EX1, the original camera, that didn't actually have HDMI, but if you're shooting with an EX1R, HDMI is on the camera as well as SDI. And while my preference might be to go for SDI, HDMI is there and it's a great acquisition to be able to access when you need those uncompressed pictures. Okay, the swivel handle means you can shoot with the camera like that. You can pull it close to your body. If you're going up high, you can angle it like that. So having a handle that turns can be quite a big deal because it just adds to the camera feeling right in the hands. And when you're shooting low or you're shooting high or from whatever angle, being able to spin that handle around to get the best grip on the camera can make quite a difference. Now, the non-linear access, being able to just go into the media setting on the camera and look at all your footage and quickly pull out any clip and just check what's there or be able to monitor on location, that really matters to me. And if you remember to the days of tape, of course you could monitor off tape, but there was a lot of spooling, re-queuing to get to the end point on the tape before you went again. You got none of those hassles with this camera. Just switch it on and use the little joystick at the top, and you can go through in a non-linear fashion and look at your footage and access very quickly the clip that you want to see. Now the EX1R has got a 1/2 inch sensor. That's unique. All the affordable cameras on the market, they all use 1/4 inch or 1/3 inch chips. This is the only one that uses a 1/2 inch sensor, other than the EX3, which is also made by Sony, and that's part of the XDCAM EX line. So why do you care how big your sensor is? Well, it matters for two fundamental reasons. Number one, low light performance. When you're shooting in a situation where there's not a lot of light, the lack of light shows badly on a camera that's got a 1/4 inch or a 1/3 inch chip. When you get into the bigger sensors, the low light performance is much better. Beyond that, the depth of field. When you've got a bigger sensor and you zoom in on an object, you can get a nice blurred out of focus look in the background. Now of course you can do that with more affordable cameras, but the fact is you can do it better with this camera. And my honest feeling is that the 1/2 inch sensor, because it's got more pixels and it's soaking up more information, it just has an overall effect on the pictures. Effectively, the pictures look better. Now perhaps the biggest deal of all when it comes to using the XDCAM EX format is workflow. The camera records onto these cards, S/S, made by Sony. Now the S/S cards provide an amazingly convenient way, one, to shoot, because you just put the card into the camera, close it, and you're ready to go. Obviously format your card if you've got something on it, but it's a very quick, reliable way to shoot. Beyond that, when you get into the post-production situation, the transfer of the data from card to hard drive is so quick. I would go as far to say that XDCAM EX is the quickest shooting medium I've used. I've done productions where I can turn around a job so quickly, and it's strictly down to the workflow, because from shooting to getting the material on drive is just so quick. You can do it, in my opinion, quicker than any of the other cameras out there. Now like I said, it comes down to two things. The card, the transfer rate coming from the card through the Express 34 bus is so quick that you can effectively suck your media in and be ready to edit very quickly. Now I well and truly remember the days of tape, and working with tape is something I never ever want to go back to. Now, of course, tape was good, it worked well, and it was reliable, but it was cumbersome. And I've just been talking about workflow. If I think back to my tape days, there was no way I could turn around content as quickly as I can with this camera. So I've outlined what matters to me about this camera and what makes it, in my opinion, such a good shooting tool. Now, in the series of videos to follow, I'm going to run through the essential operation of the EX1R. Everything from setting up the camera, shooting, working with audio, customizing the camera, and basically just making this camera work for you. Because it's not a difficult camera to use, but there's a lot of tricks and there's a lot of things you need to know, and there's certainly a lot of pitfalls that you want to avoid. So stand by. In the next series of videos to follow, we're going to go through the essential operation of working with the EX1R and how you can get the most out of it.